Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I like this song. I think it's like a nice workout and get going, energizing song. Welcome everybody to AFTERBUZZ TV. You are tuning in for episode 6 of Scorpion called Tech, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. Yeah, with you like always, I am Monse Bolanos. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos. Across from me, Susannah Kim.
Hi, I'm Susannah Kim. You can find me on Twitter and follow me at Susannah_Kim.
So, 90-minute episode.
Yeah.
Right? Epic. I know. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't a fan of that when I read that. I think I instantly texted you. And I was like, Scorpion is 90 minutes. I didn't sign up for a movie. I signed up for a TV show. And I know. I like movies, but I'm a TV person.
Me too.
Like, I am not a movie. Sit me down for 3 hours. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Which is weird. Like, I will marathon a show like no other.
Right?
But for some reason, a movie seems like such a commitment.
It's such a commitment. I agree.
Yeah.
You're right, because I do binge.
Yeah.
I'll binge 3-4 episodes.
All day.
All day. All day.
But, man, like, yeah, an hour and a half. I was like, wow. It made me nervous, too. I was like, is this like are we ending? Is this the end? Are we going on a hiatus or something?
Right. But we looked it up. No, I think there's still a show November 2nd, which would be next week.
Yes.
But like I told Susannah, I was happy that I didn't feel the 90 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It went by really quick.
Yes. It went by real fast. It felt just like a normal episode.
Yeah.
The only thing was that when they solved the problem, they didn't solve it. It just kept coming back.
Oh, yeah, like over and over.
Yeah, over and over. So it's just
like
like
thing.
right, like a birthday candle. Exactly. And we got the live chat on, so if you guys have any questions, we will be here. We got it on. We're ready to talk about this. Yes. Okay, so this episode, basically, Richard Elia is back, a.k.a. David Wallace from The Office.
Hello.
Yeah, I love him so much. He's back, and I was so excited to see him because I actually forgot about him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for some reason, which is stupid because he was such a big...
I mean, they just keep bringing him back over and
but
over.
For some reason I saw him and I was like, I forgot you even existed.
Oh, yeah, I knew they were building up to some sort of, like, big issue with him or something was going to happen, yeah.
I hope he comes back. I hope this wasn't like this is it, we're not going to see any more of him for a while. I hope he comes back. Yeah, I don't think that he's out forever.
They ended on good enough terms, or, he said he was going to work again, so maybe they'll help him out for sure in the next attempt.
In the next attempt.
Ooh,
yeah,
terrifying.
So he's back. This billionaire, I know, the next attempt. This billionaire has created a solar-powered building. Like, everything is super eco-friendly. Everything within the building itself is just, like, super high-tech, hence the name. And Walter is there, obviously, to help with the system. And they're going to have a big, grand opening of this building. And the big problem is that Walter, unfortunately, gets roofied, it seems like.
Yeah.
But even though that's not really what they tell us, like, we never see it. So if you guys have not seen the episode, which I don't know why you're here, so turn this off.
Go away.
Go away.
Kidding.
Go away. So basically, we're gonna have the opening, and they show Walter at a bar. Yeah. Seems like he's at an expo, and this guy, like, at the beginning of the episode, we will talk about Ray, but at the beginning of the episode, Ray just tells him, hey, go have a good time, writes on his hand, WWRD. Yeah. What would Ray do? Yeah. And,
which I noticed was kind of a pattern in the show. They kept bringing that up with different characters. We'll say, but yeah. Yeah, they kept bringing that up. WW, like, like, there's a point where Sly's like, what would Happy do? And there's a point where Paige is, what would Toby do?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. And that is the beginning of the... I like that. I'm glad you pointed out, because I do remember when all of them, I'm saying all their names, when Sylvester goes through all of them with the kids, and he's like, what would this person do, this person?
Useless.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so he's at the bar, and this guy tells him you don't talk to me, basically talk to that chick, she has eyes on you.
Yeah.
And he goes to talk to this girl, very pretty girl.
Yeah.
Seems normal.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect it to be a setup in any way at this point.
No, I mean, no, I obviously I knew that she was going to be trouble. This was going to be some sort of, issue. I thought maybe it would be more of an issue with like Paige and Walter, just like the whole jealousy thing, and
which we've kind of predicted.
But that was just going to be underlying and nothing to do with, the huge, epic major failure that's going on at the building. So I did not expect that. So good job, yeah.
I thought so too. I thought, I was like, if this is going to be a problem, it's going to be just like a Paige and Walter issue.
Just a social thing.
So exactly.
Yeah, did not expect this.
And you just see them, like, the scene is pretty simple. She talks and blah, 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 ha, I'm going to buy you a drink. And he's like, I don't drink. I'm going to get you a Long Island iced tea. Whatever.
A Rhode Island iced tea, apparently.
That's what he calls it. Yeah. And this causes the gang to not be able to find him the next morning.
Yeah.
And the next morning, he has to be at Elia's building by 7 a.m. And he's still doing like a decoding of the kitchen part of the building. Like he's still working on something. Yeah. He's supposed to still be working on something. He can't be found. Paige, on the board we got, what would Batman do? I love it. What would Batman do? And so they finally find him. And when I say they, I mean Paige and Cabe find him passed out in his hotel room.
Yeah.
Just on the ground, like if he's had a wild night.
I like when he wakes up, he was fine, excellent.
Excellent. Just like no big deal.
That's okay.
His phone is off.
Yeah.
And
someone like him.
Someone like him. And definitely not Paige's cup of tea.
Oh, no.
Like, I loved how Paige was jealous throughout the entire episode. Because in this one right away, she's like, do you smell perfume?
Yeah.
And like, and then Cabe's reactions to all of them were always
the whole episode.
He was
so
like,
funny.
This is awkward.
So good.
What do I do? What do I say?
You don't expect him to be so funny, and then when he has those like little moments, so funny.
Right? Even
so
though he's not responding.
Yeah,
even it's just his
like
look.
A subtle comedy to.
I love it. I love it. So they wake him up, and they're like, "We gotta go. We gotta be there in 25 minutes." Boom. Not a big deal. They head out there. And they get there, and it's an energy-efficient, smart building. And we are introduced to two different people. The head of security, I didn't get his name, which they gave us his name. The guy who plays Mr. Scavo on Desperate Housewives.
Yeah, Wilson Adler.
That guy. Is his real name or in the show?
No, the character's name is Wilson Adler.
Wilson.
Yeah, Doug Savant. I don't know how to say his last name, but Doug, I know.
Doug,
yeah,
okay. We're introduced to him, who is the head of Elia's security.
Yes.
And then we're introduced to the head of biometrics, Dan Smaisley.
Even his name is all.
You know what? I thought.
You don't trust that kind of name.
I thought head of security was responsible for all this.
Oh yeah, me too.
The whole time. The whole time.
But there was his kid, so you're like, why would he do that with his kid there? So
that's it. But that's even more. I was like, he's responsible for this, and it's not supposed to go on. Like I thought it was like he was responsible,
it just got out of his
and it got out of his control. And the way he got so desperate with his kids was why I thought he was responsible for it. So they get to this building. We meet these people. And this building is so awesome that they're in the elevator because they're headed to look at the system and work on the system and just fix everything because the temperature in the area is super cold.
Yes.
So Elliot's like, can we go just deal with the system, make this more comfortable, blah, blah, blah. And as they're on the elevator picks the song out of all the people's phone and whatever they have on them, picks the song that is played the most out of everyone's iPod or phone or whatever they have on them. Yeah. And the song is the song we started with the episode.
Toby song.
Played 17 times in 1 week. Even though he tried to blame it on an ex-girlfriend. And then the wannabe Siri is what they call him. Wannabe Siri is like, you've heard this 17 times in 1 week. So that's not working. Not a big deal. So we got the kids. We have the head of security's kid and another kid in, I believe, the 17th floor or something. And it's super cold in there. And they're going to fix it. Not a big deal. Toby, though, stays on the elevator. Sylvester stays in the room with the kids. And Walter babysitting. Yes, of course. Who else would you want babysitting? Not happy.
Right, yeah.
Not happy with the kids. And then Walter, Cabe, Paige, the rest of the crew, Elia, they all head to the system. And they start working on this. But Walter starts to have a problem.
Yeah.
Which is like 5 minutes into the episode. We're like, seriously? We just started.
Yeah.
And he's having issues. And it looks as though there is a worm in the system.
Yes.
But this is not like a normal little virus worm.
Oh no, it's attacking everything.
Every part of this building is being attacked by this worm that we find out comes from Walter's laptop.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And that's when he's like, all right, Paige, Cabe, you guys gotta go find Stella.
Right.
Paige is like,
yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Who's Stella?
You're right.
Tell me about Stella. Why don't you tell me about Stella?
Yeah.
And they have to, that's the only way that, you know, they could find out what's going on. Because Walter's like, that's the only time that that the laptop was not with me. Because he does say this has to be done over hours. Like, this wasn't just a little virus that could be sent through an email. This had to be put in his computer and, like, uploaded for several hours. So he thinks he's been drugged, like, obviously. And I really enjoyed how throughout the whole episode, Paige was like, are we saying Walter messed up? Like, there's no way. There's no way we're saying Walter messed up, right? So they're off to find who Stella is and try and get all this information. Stella. Happy goes down basically to, like, the basement. Or maybe not the basement, but
like where the geothermal...
But the thermostat is to see why this weather in the building is so cold. When she gets there, there's already a fire started.
Yeah.
Like, it's already intense. It's already, like, the problem with this virus went from 0 to 100 in a minute.
I love this part, though. I thought it was so cool. Happy's, like, solution for this.
Yes. Yeah.
So
there's a fire, and Walter goes to help her.
Yes.
And she
tells him to take, like, the intercom speaker down with him. And you're like, what?
Yeah. What do you want?
What?
Of course, but she's a builder. So she builds something using not only the speaker, but the big circuit, like, I don't even, the vent, like a vent or something. Yeah, we'll call it a vent. And it's to eliminate the fire.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem to be working. Like, you have to get too close to do it.
Right.
But Walter, because he feels like it is his fault this entire episode.
So he's just being so risky.
Yes.
Like, over and over, just making poor decisions.
But you know what? At least, if somebody's going to make a poor decision, at least Stella gave Walter his groove back. Stella, thank you, Vern-C. Thank you. At least, if somebody's going to make irrational, crazy choices, he did it without questioning himself. He was just like, no, I'm going to do this.
Right.
Which is nice. I mean, if I'm going to be in that situation, it's like, at least you're confident.
I guess so. I don't know. I was pretty upset with Walter, like, for most of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, there was
irritated.
one where I was very upset at one point.
Irritated. Well, yeah.
But
even from this, like, I was just irritated.
Yeah, he goes balls to the walls, basically, and goes as close to the fire with this thing to take it down. And
catches
it works.
on fire.
He catches on fire, but he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He don't care. He's a big boy.
Right,
and it seems like it's working. It's like, okay, fire stays. Not a big deal. Like, they're closing it down. But the problem is that while they're containing this fire, they're also realizing that none of the doors are opening for anyone. Like, they're just stuck in this building. And they head back up because, remember, the fire's done. They've gotten it. The fire... Right? They stopped it before it spreads to, like, other rooms, right? They've stopped it.
That one's good.
Yeah. But the fire has spread to other rooms.
Right, because the embers went through, like, the ventilation system.
Yes, or other floors, not rooms. Other floors, and now there's smoke going into the elevator where Toby is currently stuck.
Yeah.
And also smoke where Sylvester is and the kids.
Right.
So
of course we think we're out of the woods or, you know, fire's out. But no, they're like, oh, actually on the news, the whole building's up in flames.
That scene, when they show you that, it's just like, are you serious?
Awesome.
This is really what's happening?
Yeah.
There's no way. All right. Well, when we figure out, like, once we know there's smoke going everywhere, Sylvester has to figure out a way to let the kids not breathe the smoke. And that was super clever.
Pretty clever.
And I love that he had to jump into a fish tank to get the, like, spongy thing to filtrate the smoke. And he tells them, and I love when they're sitting around and he's, like, giving them basically the educational part of this, like, do you guys know what's in smoke and what particles and all this chemical? And the littlest, I think Russell, the one that also loves Super Fun Guy.
Yeah.
He has
like
comic
his little
books.
mini-me.
Like his little mini-me. Yes, his little mini-me. He's just like, oh yeah, and he answers his questions and it's super cute, but he makes them these masks so that they can not worry about breathing in
and good
the smoke.
for him. Like, that was heroic of him because obviously we know he's super, like, you know, germaphobe and whatever. So for him to, he even made a point of saying it, like, you know, he dunked himself in all the, like, fish feces and food and whatever. So like, good for him. Like, he's really thinking on his feet and, like, stepping up, you know?
Yeah.
He's keeping it together for a while until later when he does.
Until later when he does not lose it. I know, I wrote it, I was like, Sylvester loses it. I think that's what I wrote down. Like, he totally loses it. But right now,
he does, like, he
100%.
Totally, yeah.
100%. But yeah, he's keeping it super together and, like, trying to really help these kids. Because he knows, I can't be Sylvester.
Yeah.
I got to be everybody else to make sure that these kids are okay. Meanwhile, we got Paige and Cabe out trying to find Stella. They're on their way, and they're on the phone, and then they're like, Walter, what is Stella like? And he gives all these physical attributes.
Awesome.
That...
Thanks, man.
That Paige is not loving.
Oh, no.
Not loving. But I mean... What? Not loving, but fine. And you...
I mean, do you blame her?
But it's like, I guess, here's the thing. I don't blame her, but it's Walter.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, she shouldn't say. But I mean, like, you can't just say that, you know? So then, you know what I mean?
But it's
so
like,
then, like, what's then everything's okay? The way he reacts to, you know? Like, it doesn't mean it's okay.
It doesn't mean it's okay, but it's like the way he said it, it was like he was literally just saying it, not even thinking twice about it.
Of course. Just being super, like, just facts,
just,
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
To him, they were just facts. And Paige is not happy about it, which she says the best line in the entire 90 minutes. Because she's smelling his clothes, because he's like, oh, my clothes are in the back, see if there's anything in there that you could, like, maybe find. And then she smells them, and it smells like perfume, and then cheap perfume. And then she says, maybe we can find a scent, quote, a scent-finding dog who specializes in finding sluts. That's great.
And then Cabe's face.
His
that was
eyes.
The best one. That was the best face. Winner.
I'm going to write this down so I don't forget for my prediction. Or not prediction, but for future, because I want something to happen after this whole episode. Okay, so yeah, they go find Vrakas. That's the last name because all they have is her physical attributes, and that's it. Then Walter remembers,
yeah, who was the guy that like led him to her,
right? And he was writing like a little place card for the expo or whatever they were doing, and all he remembers is his name, Vrakas, and they go talk to him.
And they track him down. Did you notice that was funny? He was sitting there and he was talking about like how he has a hangover.
Yeah.
This fool's drinking a Bloody Mary. I was like, oh, okay.
Hey, when you are hungover, they say
that's the fix.
You know, something, a little bit of alcohol will help. Yeah, I thought
funny.
that, and he was funny because he was just like, oh, please don't yell.
Yeah.
I don't feel well. I'm not doing it. But he just says it's just a girl. I just was trying to set him up. But she had eyes on him. I didn't know her prior. And then
did you think he was part of it?
No, not.
Like, for a quick second, I was like, oh, he was the one that led her, you know? Like, why
I
would
thought
he do
so
that? But
at the beginning, like, before
they talked to him?
Before they talked to him.
When they talked to him, I was like, oh, you're an idiot.
You're an idiot. You're just hungover. You know,
you're
scabbing it.
useless.
You're not smart enough to handle any of this. But yeah, they talked to him, and he just was like, yeah, she was a girl, blah, blah, blah. Not a big deal. And then he says very nonchalantly, he was like raging, bought shots for everybody. He was just having a good time.
Yeah, totally not like himself.
And then they're like, this guy? They show a picture. Wait, this guy was having a good time? Like, right. And then they're like, yeah, totally. Since when? So that leads them to go find the footage of the bar video. Paige and Walter, or excuse me, and Cabe. And in the footage, you don't really see her put anything in his drink.
Yeah. There's like a quick second where we don't see exactly what's going on, but yeah, it doesn't really see. And I don't know how much I believe that she actually did. You know?
Yeah, I mean, she did something to make him pass out for so long. He even said, I don't remember how I got home.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess one drink wouldn't do that to him.
And one drink wouldn't.
He doesn't drink.
He doesn't. But like the way, you're right. One drink would have put him a little buzzed, and that's it.
But yeah, it was totally malicious.
It was totally malicious. And they don't get much information aside from the fact that Paige sees in her purse a Clementine gym tag. Yeah. And she says it's super fancy. Gwyneth Paltrow goes there. So they're like, they would have that information about her. So off they keep going to try and find Stella. But in the meantime, those other guys, they're going through some stuff. Because while they're when they go back to the server room, I'm talking about Walter and Happy, after they've put down the fire and realize the whole room basically is shut down. They go back to the server room, and Elia and his head of security, Wilson is what you said his name was? Right?
Wilson Adler.
They're already questioning him. They're already like, do you know what you're doing? Like, what's going on? Especially because things keep getting worse.
Yeah.
So already in this episode, they're already like, you're at fault. And Walter feels like he's at fault. Even though he is, but it's like, he didn't do this. Like, this isn't his doing.
He wasn't the one that was being attacked. That's true. He wasn't the target.
He was not trying to do this to Elia. He wasn't trying to do this to the building.
Right, exactly.
It is his fault. Like, if you want to, I guess.
Through
him, but unfortunately, no. They try and now go to the server room because he's like, if I can reset everything, maybe I can gain control of everything. And as they head down there, the vents release like this steam that is 200 degrees.
Yeah.
And then they're like, is the worm following us? Like, what is going, everywhere we go, everything that we touch doesn't turn to gold, it turns to crap. Like,
this part was a little like, tough for me to like,
far-fetched.
Yeah, I was like, really? Facial recognition, and now it's gonna get you? Like, how about when you were in the room, it wasn't gonna, go after you? That, you know what I mean? Like, now that you're running around, it's like, oh, steam, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I was like a little, that kind of lost me a little bit.
A little bit too much for you?
Right, yeah, you know? I mean, obviously, they needed a reason for them not to be there to help Toby out.
Okay, so prior to us starting this after show, we were just talking about, and you mentioned that you felt like it was a little far-fetched.
Yeah.
Just a smidge. I said, I just have accepted that Scorpion might do that from time to time.
Always.
How do you guys feel? Let us know. Those of you in live chat, let us know. Did they jump the gun in this episode too much? More than the typical Scorpion jumping the gun.
They take full advantage of the suspension of disbelief,
Yes.
They're like, just accept this, but this is what happens. And it's exciting, you know, so I'm usually cool with it. But every once in a while, I'm like, little things happen, I'm like, really? I mean, all right, that's cool, so I let it go, but yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And this one, it was just like, the whole worm following you. I was like, what? But if he didn't do it, if he doesn't have the worm on him,
like, why personally? Them two, or, yeah.
But maybe it wasn't necessarily that it was really the facial recognition. Maybe it was that guy, Smaisley, was just walking around that area or something.
Yeah,
we don't know what happened to him.
True.
You could have shown us, and we wouldn't have these questions. Okay? All right. Yeah. So they have to send Toby to the server room. Now, Toby has managed to get himself by himself. He says that, all by myself. I got myself out of the elevator. He had to find a way out because everything's stuck, but he finds his way out.
Yeah, and he was by himself for a lot of the episode.
A lot of the episode. I mean, for 90 minutes, he's probably alone for like 30.
Yeah,
which
and
seems
then
like
what
a
he does
lot.
after that, like I wrote, like I felt like he was probably the biggest hero of the episode.
Yeah,
like overall, like, and then when he started like taking the insulation out of the walls and getting all wrapped up, Michelin Man.
Drinks.
Wow.
Yes.
Why? Go away. Like, when he was like, wrapped yourself up to walk through a fire?
Yeah.
You don't even know if you're gonna be able to get out after, smoke inhalation, like all these things. Like, man, he was just going for it.
Yeah, he did it. And
good for him.
The server room's completely on fire, just like Susannah said. He makes himself a costume, basically. A Michelin Man, fireproof costume. And he gets in there, and then Happy and Walter are on their way. They're trying to get there. But when they get there, they're not there yet. He's just telling them that it's like super overheating and it's like all of these things are spinning.
Right.
And then they tell him, you need to get out of there. The fire's going to spread. It's going to explode. Like, it's just, it's not working. They get there and Toby cannot get out of the server room.
Why would he?
And it's because... Right. It's because of a safety thing. It was to contain the fire from spreading.
Right.
They can't get him in, and then, like, Happy throws a chair, and then, like, nothing happens.
Right off.
Just bounces right off. No big deal.
Yeah, this is where I really started to get upset.
This is a tough...
was rough to get through.
This was rough. Walter, like... Let's keep this simple. Walter says, I am going to suck the oxygen out of here. You will die for 10 seconds. We will then get in, revive you, because there's a very high possibility of that.
Yeah.
He said, high possibility. And then it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Happy and Toby are not on board.
No, not at all.
And neither would I. Are you kidding me?
No.
But then, Walter says, okay, so we just let him die in there.
Oh, perfect.
What do you do?
Perfect.
What do you do in that situation?
Okay, what really upset me is I feel like Walter was kind of making rash decisions because eventually he did think of the idea like, oh, we need to pierce the, the glass, right, at the end, and they finally think. So it's like, okay, had you, thought a little
earlier?
Bit more, yeah.
But
like,
wasn't
just
that...
get there faster, you know what I mean?
I was under the impression that piercing that glass was not a possibility until after they took all the oxygen out because of what was happening inside. Right. So they... But still maybe trying something else?
Yeah, because, I mean, ultimately the glass did shatter and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like...
It's true.
If you're able to pierce the glass with that, like, I feel like there were other options.
Right.
You know? Like, really? I don't know. It was just...
It's true.
Tough, man.
So he does it. He does it. Even though they're saying no, they're, like, begging him. They're like, no. He presses the button. And, like... Toby, he's like, I will rise again. He's so like, you're about to die and you're still just cracking jokes.
Oh, so good.
You see, like, the oxygen being taken out, the fire starts to diminish, the water bottle starts to like crumble because there's no oxygen, and he just
thinks like, oh, those are his lungs.
Yes, like that's just what he's feeling.
Awesome.
And then Happy's like, okay, stop, let's turn it off, like, let's get in there, and he's like, no, 10 more seconds. Counts the 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And not fast 10 seconds. Yeah. Like, probably 15.
Like talking in the middle of 3 and 4, I think.
3 and 4. Yeah. And he passes out.
Yeah.
And they have to, like you just said, they figure out to crack the wall, or excuse me, the glass, using a pen, a very fancy pen that Elia gave to Walter. Walter never wanted to give to Happy, and they exchanged that. And then she like lassos it,
whips that
around, and it goes into the glass, but it doesn't shatter.
Right.
And then Walter says, just wait. Shatters completely. And in this moment, Happy goes to Toby, Walter goes to the system, or to the server room stuff that he's trying to fix to like reboot everything.
And even at that moment, Happy's kind of like, really, you're not worried about this guy, like, really? And he's just like, oh, I'm being super logical. Obviously, what is 2 people standing there gonna do? Yeah, it makes sense, but God.
Yeah. Happy revives him, and he says, I could have done that by myself. And then she's like, yeah, like, it's like, Toby, shut up, man. Yeah. Stop being your independent littleness.
I know. This is so unattractive. I liked it better when you were like, oh my God, did you just kiss me? You know what I mean? Like,
this is not,
that was not fun, Toby.
Not at all. But, you know, they think it's over because he is able to reboot the system. The sprinklers turn on. Sylvester's like on the comm. He's like, yeah, sprinklers are on. Everything's going well. The lights turn on. The music turns on. And it all seems like it's been fixed. Of course not.
Yeah.
No.
Why?
The worm is not designed like that. This virus, is designed to just keep stopping whatever it is that Walter is doing. And unfortunately, Sylvester and the kids kind of get the worst of this because they think it's over. They think, like, we're fine. Then a fire erupts underneath the floor that Sylvester is with the kids.
Yes.
And almost instantly, there is a hole in the ground with a fire. Literally.
Awesome. It's
like instantly.
A pit of fire.
A pit of fire. And they need to break this window. But they can't break we know they cannot break these windows. But the fire has caused, like, a shift.
I think it was like they're saying like the frames of the building was bending.
Was shifting or something.
Which makes the window kind of like off frame.
Yes.
Yeah, which caused a little bit of peeling or something like that.
Yes, you see the little bit of peel at the yes. And they say put fire next to it.
Right. Because
so that's just like, where can I get fire?
The window.
And there's like a huge, right behind you, dude.
Although, I mean, it's a logical question because it's like a pit of fire. Let me just walk near it. You don't know what part of that floor is stable or not.
That is true. But he gets like the kids give him like a stick, like a torch.
He's like, hey, go break that lamp.
Yes.
Like, oh, that's safe.
That's safe.
Tell kids that all the time.
He grabs a little bit of fire with the stick and is able to put it on the window. The window.
Yeah, a lot of broken glass.
A lot of broken glass. And it's a 170-foot drop. So they're not jumping anywhere. There's supposed to be a helicopter that can drop the ladder. How are they going to get the ladder? There's a lot of wind. A lot of fire. It's like a burning building, guys. Burning building.
Like,
it is. Jinx. It is a burning building. They cannot get the ladder, and
they can't send a fireman down the ladder.
They can't. And the firemen are like, we can only be here X amount of time because there's a fire so close to us. So, like, you got to think fast.
The firemen weren't very helpful.
Not even a little bit. No.
We're going to stand here and hover, but the rest is up to you guys.
Stand here and hover, but you geniuses figure it out.
Get from there to there.
Yeah.
Careful, it's a little shaky.
Walter has to think fast, and he does. Runs to the building below them, or I'm sorry, the floor right below them, and jumps out of the building.
Again, another super rash decision.
The ladder and jumps and they grab him. Toby and Happy are able to grab him. So now the ladder is at an angle. They're holding it. Sylvester and the kids can go up. The kids go.
Yeah.
The little boy Russell has to leave his super fun guy comics behind.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's super. I was real sad.
Yeah, you can buy another one. That's material.
Yeah. That's true. And when it's funny because when he jumps, I love the thing that Toby said. Stupidest thing I've ever seen, but effective.
Yeah.
When he jumps out. So the kids are able to go. Sylvester is not able to go. The helicopter has to be taken.
Too much smoke.
Exactly. Too much smoke. So it does have to go. And they're like, okay, the retractable solar panels. If we get enough energy, enough light to reflect these panels, we can get him down.
A little stairway down for him.
Exactly. And like always, Happy makes something out of, they grab the lights that are like right above the elevator and they are able to make this contraption.
Yeah.
They start, I'm just spilling stuff here because I'm so excited. And they get the solar thing and the first panel comes off. Right below Sylvester. He doesn't want to do it. And it's like, Sylvester, why do you have to like jump? Why couldn't you step?
Oh, that seemed like a big jump.
Yeah, and you're a big guy.
That was further down.
Like, yeah, it was just right. I was like, dude, no. And for them to be below, it's like, hey, it's not that far. Just take a step because you're a big boy.
Right.
You jump. This is not.
So then I started thinking, I was like, oh, once again, is it the injury thing? You know, like he's just gonna bend his leg down to get down. So, you know,
maybe
he needs to do a little hop.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. So they do get one out, and then they start getting the next one out. But the thing is, he can't have them both out. One has to go in while the other one's going out.
Right.
And then he does that other big jump, which looks even more ridiculous. It's like, how did that not break?
And that one starts to kind of
it does bend a little bit, but it doesn't break.
Yeah.
Then the light source goes out.
Yes.
So he's just stuck there.
Yeah.
Walter runs back to the where the system is and where Elia is and the security is. And they say, we've received an email blaming you for all of this. Walter's like, what? I just need to save my friend. You need to turn the energy back on. You need to turn this on. We need to save my friend. He knocks down both security and hits Elia with the laptop.
Yeah.
Right across the head. I was like, laptop? Laptop? Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Use a laptop, and he's able to turn it on. But he does have to, because the security gets back up.
Right.
And he's like, this guy put all of his anxiety, fear, blah, 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 aside to save your child.
Exactly.
Let me save him.
Yeah.
He gets the light back on, the energy source back on, and they are able to help Sylvester.
Yeah.
They are able to lower the final
panel.
Thank you. Solar panel, which is not directly below him. It's actually a couple of levels below him. But the plan was, which I understood,
to kind of catch him.
So he would fall, and he would fall into the window, into the building,
which worked out, of course,
perfectly.
Yeah,
perfectly. They save him. No big deal. We find out exactly who is behind this because Paige and Cabe have gotten the right information. They realize that this lady, Stella, is part of a sweet companionship website.
Awesome.
So they go to this website. It's a sugar daddy, cougar thing.
Yeah, do your thing.
It's like an Ashley Madison, it seems like, or something like that. Like a mix of that.
Sure.
They go to this place kind of undercover. Cabe is the sugar daddy, and Paige is the assistant. And she's going to find their computer to try and figure out this information, who Stella has spoken to.
Right.
She's able to crack the code because she realizes that the lady, the receptionist, is a huge animal lover, loves dogs, has her doggy photos, and is able to crack the password, gets in, gets the information. We find out that she was set up to drug or whatever it is she did to Walter by the head of biometrics. Smaisley, that name.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like
it's
sleazy.
Just wrong
from the get-go.
Yeah, Smaisley, sleazy, whatever.
Sounds like you can't trust him.
Yep, sounds like you can't trust him. Exactly. So they call Walter, and Walter's like, you need to find him. He still has the worm on him. And his building is like an implant building. So the worm is like implanted somewhere in him, in his arm. And the reason he did this is because his budgeting had been cut by Elia for this building. It's like, dude, get over it. They find him outside of the burning building. Cabe chases him down and tackles him. It's very exciting. Paige hits him with the car. Great.
Yeah, and her little stop on him.
Right? And she looks so good with that long maxi skirt. You look great, girl. Always do. She's puts her foot on her heel on him, and with a stun gun, they shock his arm. Yes, and they're able to kill it.
Chip.
Instantly. Doors open. People run out. Great. Saves the day. Day is saved.
Yeah.
So that is the exciting 90-minute episode of Scorpion.
Epic.
Let's quick recap on the couples, because obviously Paige and Walter have a talk at the end.
Yeah.
A very little one. They talk, and you know, she's like, "I'm sorry about my complicated feelings that I had about you and Stella."
Right.
And I'm glad she said that. I'm glad she admitted
it needed to be addressed. Yeah.
It totally needed to be addressed, especially because I wanted Cabe to say something to Paige.
Really?
I wanted Cabe to be like, okay, so you know you're in love with Walter.
Right, yeah,
because of all this today that I've heard, you're in love with Walter.
Right.
Check. Got
That's true.
So I'm hoping that does happen.
Yeah.
That because of
like
this
maybe
episode.
This becomes like a pattern. He's going to see it again. That's true. Yeah, maybe they kept them together for a reason.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Like, he totally saw a side of Paige
right.
that nobody else saw.
Right.
That nobody else has seen.
Right.
So I'm hoping this will lead to Cabe telling her, you need to do something about this. You need to tell him.
Kind of like Walter's Toby.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And Walter also does talk to Elia. Elia, you know, they have that whole like heart to heart, like, you don't give up just because it didn't work once. You keep going.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Good for him.
Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, we do get a John McClane reference.
Yeah.
Because Cabe says, like, all right, John McClane, like, da-da. He's like, I don't know what that is. All right, cool. It's a movie. Doesn't tell him it's from Die Hard. And somebody pointed out to us on Twitter that Robert Patrick was in the third Die Hard movie, second or something. So it's cute that they made that connection. And I love, because at the end of the episode, Walter goes back to Ray, goes back to community service, because that's how the episode started, with community service. And he tells him everything that happened.
Yeah,
like the entire, basically what we just did. He's like telling Ray step by step, and tells him, you know, what Elia did, all that good stuff. And then Ray's like, all right, I'm going to the bar, but I'm not going to invite you because you're not going to want to come. Right. And then he's like, no. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go, but I'm going to have club soda.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah, but good for him for going, you know? Look at Walter
changing it up.
Yeah.
I know. I love
Learning
it.
some social skills.
Learning
talking about his day. What? You talk about how your day was?
Talk about how your day is. And we didn't do this at the beginning of the episode. We did talk about the beginning, but I really loved how at the beginning of the episode, the whole community service thing, he's on the phone with Elia and he's dodging traffic to try and save Ray's hat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's like, I don't do dangerous. I don't do danger. I just do logic. And he's like dodging traffic and cars.
Obviously.
I love the episode for it being 90 minutes. Very entertaining. I loved Paige's jealousy throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I love Toby trying to be independent the whole time. I love when I didn't even mention this, when Happy punches him.
Yeah.
And she's like, you need to stop this, because the next time you die, I'm just going to let you die.
Yeah, it's going to be for real when you die.
It's going to be for real. I also thought, I love what Sylvester did, helping all the kids, all that good stuff. I really thought Sylvester was going to give his comic books to Russell, to the little boy. I thought
so
like that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Especially since he has them in his new humidor.
Yeah, Superdor.
Yeah.
That's why I make a point of that in the kid, and you know,
like, why tell us that? So
up.
he just lost it. Yeah. Unless we're gonna see Elia again, thus seeing the boy again, and then maybe he'll give it to him.
Right. Yeah.
Before we end the show, because we got about 2 minutes left, let's do a quick prediction. Okay. It's just super quick. We got about 2 minutes left of the show.
Now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
Do you have any predictions?
I don't know. I'm thinking. Okay. I mean, as far as like Walter and Paige go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel okay.
Do you think they're going apart versus
no? I think they're going together. I think this was like kind of like a small thing, but I think this kind of helped them in a way.
Yes.
You know, because it didn't mean anything, obviously. So in a way, I think it just helped the situation. Maybe made them a little more aware of how they feel for each other. You know,
because he does say that. He does say when they're talking that Toby says like, I know the facts. Like, I can't pretend this didn't happen.
Right. Exactly.
And then she also says, don't be discouraged.
Yeah. Exactly.
By this.
Yeah, and you know, and they've had like cute little moments lately, you know, where they're like, complimenting each other. So yeah, definitely see that going somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think something will happen to Walter. Something dangerous will happen.
Yeah,
and then that's when Cabe is gonna be like, Paige, you need to tell him, because only I know that you love him, and I'm tired of knowing. So you need to tell him, because I know that you know that I know that we know.
Because it seems like Toby's kind of over, you know, trying to push Walter into the whole Paige thing. Like that's they're not talking about that anymore. So.
And I don't think we're gonna see any Toby and Happy. I don't see it happening.
Rough going.
So sad.
I really wanted that.
I know, and I predict we'll see Elia again.
Yeah.
I hope we do. Yeah. I hope, especially because they've been having issues with Homeland. This is a good way to work.
Right, exactly.
This is a good way to not necessarily have to deal with Homeland. Yeah, can't wait for next episode. There is an episode next week, so it's not that they're not going to have one. So, Susannah, if anybody wants to talk to you about today's episode.
Yes, please follow me, tweet me on you can tweet me on Twitter. Susannah_Kim. It's SUSANNAH. Last name's KIM. And follow me on Instagram at Susannah Kim.
You guys can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MONSE BOLANOS. You can catch Susannah on Survivor here at AfterBuzz. Yes. You can catch both of us on tonight's premiere of Wicked City that happened yesterday, which we'll be doing in about a minute. Yes. You guys can also catch me on Gotham here at AfterBuzz TV. Tweet us, rate us, give us 5 stars. Let us know what you think about this episode, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.